Today I'm going to be talking about how to spot an investment grade property. Not every property is investment grade, so I'm going to be telling you the things that I look out for in a property to make sure that it is a good property to have in your investment portfolio. So the first thing I look for is I want a property that's close to everything a tenant needs. So that's close to shops, schools, transports, hospital, employment. Basically, it needs to be somewhere that people are going to want to live. I also look for properties that are structurally sound, or if they're not structurally sound, I want to know about it up front before I buy the property so that I know what I'm up for in terms of fixing that property long term. I also look for properties that are low maintenance. Forget pools and fancy gardens. I want a property that the tenants are going to be able to look after with very, very low maintenance. So that is really important. I also look for properties that are suitable for the target tenant depending on where and what I'm buying. So for example, if I'm buying in an area that I'm really hoping to attract a family, then I'm going to be looking for a property with a little bit more of a backyard. So something that's a bit more attractive to a family. Whereas if I'm looking at an area that is likely to attract younger singles, singles or couples, then I'm going to be looking for something on a very small block with very low maintenance and very easy and a lot of convenience for the tenants. And the other thing is, depending on the suburb that you're looking at, some suburbs would demand luxury fittings and fixtures. So if you're buying in a more upper class suburb, you might have to ensure that the property's got those little extra luxuries that a tenant would be looking for. Whereas if you're buying in a cheaper suburb, those extra luxuries won't get you any extra rent, so don't even consider them. Most importantly, out of everything that I look for, I make sure the numbers work. Okay, so it's really important that regardless of what property you look at, you do your cash flow analysis to see what the property will cost you and make sure you can afford to hold it long term. If you can't afford to hold the property, then it's the wrong property for you, and it's definitely not an investment grade property for your situation. So make sure you can afford to hold the property. I do have a calculation worksheet on the website that you can actually download for free, and you can actually plug in the numbers and it will tell you what each property will cost you to hold out of pocket. So that's a really useful tool, and I encourage you to give it a go. And finally, last but not least, remove the emotion, okay? If it ticks all the boxes that I just talked about, then go for it. Don't worry about the emotion. Don't worry if the walls are pink with purple polka dots and it's not your favorite color. You can paint over the walls. Just stick to the fundamentals and you will be fine.